In a crypto lounge with a chart so wild, we're dropping beats and rhymes and we're not for mile. From Bitcoin to Ethereum, we're breaking it down. In the crypto lounge where the markets have abound. Crypto lounge, daily live stream, market analysis, breaking news, it's a dream. We're dropping knowledge, we're dropping bars. In the crypto lounge where the beats are hard. From NFTs to DeFi, we're keeping it real. We're dropping knowledge, and we're making it feel. From bull to bear, we're always on the grind. In the crypto lounge, where the market's never blind. Crypto lounge, where the toll lounge, where the market's never blind. Crypto lounge, daily live stream, market analysis, breaking news, it's a dream. We're dropping knowledge, we're dropping bars. In the crypto lounge, where the beats are hard. We're dropping knowledge, we're dropping rhymes. In the crypto lounge where the future shines.
All right, welcome to the show. We have a lot. Welcome to the show, guys. A hand clap to you guys. Boy, do we got a lot. We got a lot going on overseas. We got a lot going on internally with America. My God, I got a chart too. It's a Trump tweet chart, and the tweets, I don't know what you call it, Truth Social. I don't know what you call those. Do you call them tweets? Do you call them posts? I don't know. But it's interesting. From June the 11th all the way up to today, there were 3 posts from President Trump that completely cratered Bitcoin. So we'll look at that because essentially, what are they calling it? Trump volatility. This is what it is. I don't know. He's controlling all financial markets at this point in time. You know, I don't want to blame it all on the guy, but the president, he's steering the proverbial poo. I got to tell you. He's in control when it comes to the financial markets. Whatever he says, whether it's good or bad, it affects not only the cryptocurrency market, it affects the stocks as well across the board. But again, hope you guys are doing good. We got a lot to go through today. Today's headlines are very interesting. Bitcoin is sitting at $103,000 right now. We're going to get into that. Most definitely, we have to get into that. That is a lot. That is a lot to unpack there. It's being heavily affected with what's going on with Iran and Israel. We got a Fox News report I'm probably going to get into. I'm actually watching the Genius bill voting as well. I believe they're voting on this right now. So we'll probably go to that because that is a big deal. That's a big deal. The Genius Act, it has a lot of stablecoin language that is wrapped up into this particular bill. And if it does not get the votes, if it does not pass, that's not good for that IPO. And I'm talking Circle. It's not good for that. It may crater. Not wishing that, but I'm just saying, you know, a lot is riding with the Genius Act, essentially. We have the Clarity Act too as well. Those two, that language, those bills are very important when it comes to stablecoin activity, when it comes to cryptocurrency activity, when it comes to blockchain interaction. We did get Hester Pierce. She did say that the banks are good to go when it comes to implementation of DeFi, blockchain technology, whether it's their private permission or their, the bank's commandeering existing technology. We just have to see how that goes. But I'm looking at the video now, so I don't think they're in recess. So we'll see. We'll get back to that. The headlines are crazy when it comes to cryptocurrency. When it comes to what's going on, we'll peel over to the stock market. Stock market is reacting to Donald Trump as well. NASDAQ down 1%. Dow Jones down 0.75%. The futures do not look good at all, guys. Probably 1% down the board. Just depends on what happens over seas with this kerfuffle, with this very unfortunate event. A lot of people are losing their lives. There's a lot of misinformation too. Let's just put that out there. There's a lot of propaganda that's going on here. But I have to thank X for the news because we're not getting the real news on the news outlets. The traditional news outlets, they're not giving us the real news. So thank goodness for X. Thank goodness for a lot of other independent news agencies as well that I see on YouTube that are streaming live. We actually get to see what's going on. And it's not good. It's affecting the markets big time. I'm looking at a lot of stocks, guys, and you know, I'm looking at the cryptocurrency market, which we're going to get into, and we got some amazing stories too as well. XRP, you got the ETF that launched. Let's go ahead and clap that in Canada. That was beautiful. Even in the middle of the legal pause, so we'll get into those details as well. Elizabeth Warren saying hell no to the Genius Act. We'll get into her scathing remarks as well. I don't know if this is going to pass or not. I really don't. We'll get into the Ark Investments pull out of the IPO, the Circle IPO, over $51 million worth of shares that was sold by Ark Invest recently. Do they know something about this Genius Act? Is it going to pass? Is it going to get enough votes? They pulled out of the Circle IPO right at the top of that pump. 4,000% pump. Ark Invest, Kathy Woods, pulling out $51 million worth of Circle shares out the door. Do they know something? I don't know. We'll get into that. It's very interesting. And the pump.fund situation. We have a law firm that has included a lot of decentralized exchanges that were linked to a lot of these pump tokens that were listed, and they're under the gun. We're talking about a class action lawsuit. We're going to get into that. This pump.fund thing is about to spiral out of control. And I got to tell you, this is inevitably going to happen. The writings was on the wall. I mean, the math, this is already baked in the cake. All right. It was just a matter of time. So we'll get into that. A lot of accounts were actual banned and suspended. A lot of ex-employees were saying that this was just normal run-of-the-mill, you know, cleaning of the house, you know, just some house cleaning, you know, have some new enforcement language, so they're going to be cleaning house. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think they got a little information, probably got the memo, so about what's coming down the pipeline for pump.fund in all associated accounts and decentralized exchanges that partake in the listing of these meme coins. It's very interesting what's rolling downhill. So let's go ahead and get to the market. Let's go ahead and get that. Now, this is a very interesting shape up when it comes to the market. Let's go ahead and just zone right into Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, because I do believe that this is where everybody's attention is. And we know the alts, they follow Bitcoin profusely, you know. ETH has decoupled from everything. We'll get to ETH here in a little bit. 103,000. I want to pull this up because what we seen was, I believe. Now let me go ahead and I didn't want to say it until I actually confirmed it. We saw a new all-time high. All right, $111,970.17. Let's go ahead and clap that. This is decent. That was a beautiful all-time high. Now, as we sit here, and I'm gonna zoom in all the way up into this particular pinnacle here of $111,000. Now, we saw the tweets. We got the tweets. Some say that this is directly affected. And we're talking about this catastrophic drop all the way to 103. A lot of liquidations. A lot of people got caught up with this situation. Well over $383 million worth of liquidations, right? 100K seems to be the solid floor here going into the weekend. This is what everybody's saying. What's up, Selma? Welcome to the show, brother. 100K. This is the consensus here when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to the potential floor of volatility, of Trump volatility. I think we're probably going to go below that by the weekend, especially if all hell breaks loose overseas. And speaking of that, let's go to this report before we get back to this, because some things I want to say. But I want to actually go to this particular report that just launched off of Fox News here. This is very interesting too here as well.
President Trump will meet with his national security team in the White House Situation Room at 1 p.m. Eastern today to make decisions about U.S. policy toward the war between Israel and Iran. 3 U.S. officials have told Axios, and this is key, why this matters. The U.S. official said Trump is seriously considering joining the war and launching a U.S. strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, especially its underground uranium enrichment facility in Fordow. It is built into a mountain. They cannot get to it without our bunker-busting weapon.
All right, I'm going to replay this, and then we'll move back to the Bitcoin chart, because I got to tell you guys, if this comes to fruition, Bitcoin is going to crater way below 100K. Because we were told that there was going to be some peace talks. We were told that via Donald's post, right? There were going to be ceasefire talks. All of this is going to be avoided. And then we get this report here recently, just about 40 minutes ago, coming off of Fox News. I'm going to replay this one more time.
Breaking news, the president very, very active on his Truth Social this hour. That's because, according to Axios is reporting, President Trump will meet with his national security team in the White House Situation Room at 1 p.m. Eastern today to make decisions about U.S. policy toward the war between Israel and Iran. 3 U.S. officials have told Axios, and this is key, why this matters. The U.S. official said Trump is seriously considering joining the war and launching a U.S. strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, especially its underground uranium enrichment facility in Fordow. It is built into a mountain. They cannot get to it without our bunker-busting weapon. They need
bunker-busting weapon. Simo says that bunker buster. I want to speak on this as we get back to the actual crypto market. Now, we're looking at $103,000 Bitcoin coming off of a new all-time high, which is great, right? A lot of this is fear-based trajectory, and we see this every single time. Every freaking time we get to around 110, we bounce off this, but this is different. You can't chart this. This is pretty obvious what's going on here, and we're talking Trump volatility across the board, not just the cryptocurrency market. We're talking Trump volatility across all financial markets. And then you get this report. Now, Pentagon released a statement as well. They're basically saying that this is a defense measure, not an attack. What's going on, Jay? Welcome to the show. This is just to protect the 40,000 troops that are in that region, just for defense purposes. This is why we're sending the warplanes. Listen, let's just go ahead and throw that aside because we're getting conflicting. If you listen to Trump, Trump is like, we're about to bust some ass. We're about to kick some butt, right? But when you look at the Pentagon statements, oh, no. This is defense measures, guys. There's no declaration of war. We're not helping Israel. We're just protecting our troops. Okay, let's just put that aside. This is affecting Bitcoin, guys, in a really negative way. All financial markets, but in particular, our beloved cryptocurrency market. It is affecting it in a negative way. We're going to go way below 100K if all hell breaks loose. If one of our shells touches ground, and it has been perceived to come from one of our aircraft, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. These markets are going to crater. It is what it is, and they should crater. The fear would be phenomenal. If you're looking at the bearish meter on the top left of your screen, you can see it's I've never seen it this low. 15.4, very bearish. Markets across the board are bleeding. And it's really hard for me to look at the XRP because XRP has some great news coming out of Canada. We'll get into that. ETF, spot ETF, fully launched. It's going to actually come into fruition tomorrow to where you can buy it, through the vehicles. We'll get into that. But look at what there's a big cloud over this great news when it comes to XRP. We'll get to it. And it's Trump volatility. Jay says, it seems like Arkham would benefit from this. I feel it. Let's see. It's very interesting that you brought up Arkham. Now, Rich Hughes says, are we going into a crypto winter early? I think that's an understatement, Mr. Hughes. Richard Hughes. I think that's an understatement. I think the actual where we're headed is uncharted territories when it comes to the trajectory of what I'm saying, because all hell is breaking loose overseas. All hell is breaking loose overseas. There's no control here. Oil prices seem to have come down, but we had 3 oil tankers that were struck yesterday. So that math hasn't even been baked into the cake. That is all that oil is going to be lost at sea. So there's so many things that are happening. And it's affecting crypto. Now, you're probably saying, Michael, why is Bitcoin still above 100K? It's funny you ask it. Let's go ahead and go into the ETF market here, because I want to go into this as well. I'll show you why. Now we're going to be looking at these ETF funds. This is the fund report. All right. Now, specifically, I want to look at the fund inflows. Now, we'll start with Ethereum because Ether's had a great month, guys, when it comes to fund flows. Now, I'm pretty sure you can see this green. All of this is pertaining to the ETH ETF funds. All right. The only one that's really showing a little bit of weakness is a Grayscale. And across the board, you always see that with Grayscale, even with the Bitcoin ETFs, underperforming profusely. But when it comes to ETH is doing great. When it comes to a lot of inflow, when it comes to Ethereum ETFs, this is your Ethereum floor. We'll get to ETH in a little bit. It obliterated the $2,600 resistance just recently, and it had a lot to do with the ETF inflow, not transactional action, not development. Right? We see that going out the door. Mass exodus of development, mass exodus of volume. A lot of the floor that you see with ETH is coming from the ETFs, which is good. This is good. This is what ETH needed to pad itself while the volatility took its toll. But how long is this going to last, right? It looks great. It looks great. Fund flows within the month, iShares well over almost $1 billion, guys, within the last month, coming into Ethereum when it comes to ETF inflow. This is your floor for Ethereum. 52 million coming from Grayscale, 170 million plus within the month has come from Grayscale's Ethereum mini trust. Fidelity is pitching in whopping $200 million within a month of fund inflows when it comes to Ethereum ETFs. Ethereum's looking great, right? Bitwise, VanEck, Franklin, Invesco, across the board, positive inflow when it comes to ETH. Let's switch to Bitcoin. Now you're wondering about why we're at 100K. Month inflows are phenomenal when it comes to a Franklin Templeton, but across the board, iShares and Fidelity, phenomenal. Within a year, we're talking about $32 billion worth of inflow alone from the iShares Bitcoin Trust that has come into the Bitcoin fold. $32.13 billion. Within the last 3 months, over $10 billion worth of inflow. We're talking that ETF vehicle running up into Bitcoin. Now, I'm not even adding Michael Saylor's contributions, okay? In the institutions, not even adding that yet. Because pretty soon, Michael, if not already, is probably going to be the largest holder of Bitcoin. He's got well over 500,000 BTC, okay? He may be the largest Bitcoin holder at the end of the day. Is that good for MicroStrategies? I don't know. A lot of liquidations took place today. But at this point in time, he's looking like a genius, right? Fidelity, 144 million, 2.15 billion within a year. We're talking inflows. This is your Bitcoin floor. Bitwise and VanEck as well across the board. Phenomenal contributions when it comes to the ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs, to the tune of well over combined. I'm talking Bitwise and VanEck combined. 7.6 mil with Bitwise, 2.64 bill with VanEck, right? Amazing inflows here. So if you're wondering why we're still at 100K, you remove, and I'll start with ETH here before we get back to the top 25. If you remove these ETF inflows, this influx, this amount of money on Ethereum side, you're looking at a $1,500 Ethereum price right now, probably even below 50. I'll go ahead and say $1,300 ETH if we remove the ETF inflow. You remove this Bitcoin inflow, and I think we're at 75K. So ETFs, thank God for the ETF inflow for the top two, because if you remove this, guys, Bitcoin is at 76, 79K, right? ETH is probably at 13, 14 at best. I don't know. It's very interesting what's going on, but it's all ETFs when it comes to floor holding and why Bitcoin is sitting at above 100K. Thank God for the ETFs. Let's go ahead and get back to the market here. Now we stopped at the actual Bitcoin chart. Let's go ahead and move on. 104, we're climbing back. We're trying to reclaim 111,000. I don't think we're going to get there. Just want to let you guys know we do have the show link up top just in case you want to jump on and give your opinion as well. You're welcome to do that. 104,000 This is going to be influenced by geopolitics, guys. I have to tell you, this is affecting the entire market. We're going to get into the nuances of it too as well here shortly. I want to move, let's see, some of us says Trump and his tariffs and immigration pretty much got a chokehold on crypto. Absolutely. Semo also says BlackRock plans is the United States of Korea. You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. And I'm gonna say that again. BlackRock's plan is the United States of Ukraine. Very interesting. Very interesting. I think Trump, his exit out of G7, and he wanted to get Putin to do it as well. I think Ukraine is in trouble. They're already been in trouble, but I think they're in trouble. No more money. That's what I'm saying. Especially if all hell breaks loose with Iran and we get involved. There's not going to be enough money for Ukraine. And Zelensky, he knows this. He's freaking out right now. LMFG, welcome to the show, brother. You're more than welcome to come up. It says good afternoon, everybody. Maybe the GNSAT gets passed. It stops BTC from dropping. If not, 98K possible. I do believe it. In fact, let's go ahead and check on that. Let's check on this situation. They seem to be crowding in. Let's go ahead and get into this. See what's going on. I don't see any action. Hear it all. We're looking at Congress right here. Let's do a peek in. Let's see what's going on here. They should be voting really soon, but I think they're still coming back from recess. This is going to be the floor of the Senate. They are going to be voting on the Genius Act very, very soon. Will it pass? I don't know. With Ark Invest pulling out all of their shares within their Circle IPO, selling $51 million worth of Circle IPO. Does Kathy Woods, does Ark Invest know something? Do they know what's going to occur here on the Senate floor when it comes to this Genius Act? Because the way they pulled out is very alarming. Very alarming. There was a lot of Circle stock that was sold. Now it's still above 150, I believe. Arthur Hayes is questioning the valuation of Circle. He's saying it's fictitious. We got to get into that too. He said some very scary things about that IPO, about the Circle Trojan horse. The Trojan horse is what I like to call it. That IPO. It's going to be bringing in a lot of frivolous activity, mischievous activity. We'll get into that. LMFG says Circle sitting at 145. Yeah, Ark Invest pulled out a gargantuan amount of shares, sold a lot of, pulled out abruptly. We'll get into that. So there's not a lot of action going on with this Genius Act vote is supposed to take place at any given time. They're coming back from recess, so we'll get back to this, and hopefully we can catch that vote, and hopefully we can get this thing passed. Because if this doesn't pass, I think that Circle IPO is going to go below 145, bro. I really do. Let's go ahead and get back to the market.
Mr. Coons, no.
Well, I think we just got a no vote as we segue back to the Bitcoin chart. We just got a no vote. I think it was Thune. He voted no. So we'll get back to that. We'll definitely get back to this. They're in process of actually tallying the votes actually. So we just heard a no vote. So I don't know, guys. That needs to pass though. Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and get into this report about the Trump volatility and how this report. It's very interesting, and I believe this. I want to show you this chart too, and about how Donald's tweets are affecting the market. We all know this. We see this. Here's a headline here. I love this graphic too. Bitcoin gives up rally after Trump denies Israel and Iran ceasefire roll. Calls Tehran to evacuate immediately. Now, I know you guys saw that. And unfortunately, we are slave to this at this point in time. I don't even want to show you what I saw when it comes to the Samson list. The Samson option. If you guys know about this, there's a list that was leaked. Apparently, allegedly, the list was leaked, and it has cities on it that will be targeted in America if the Samson option is actually activated. It's pretty scary. I don't even know if I'm gonna get into it. I probably won't even get into that. Very, very interesting. But I want to get into one of these old interviews before we get into this article, actually. This is going to be Warren Buffett 11 years ago. All right. And this is what he had to say about Bitcoin. And then we'll get back to this.
But if they
listen to this carefully. This is Warren Buffett 11 years ago.
it does not meet the test of a currency. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not around in 10 or 20 years.
Why does it not meet the definition of a currency?
Well, because people say, well, I'll sell you goods in Bitcoins, but they change the price of those every time the price of the dollar changes in relation to Bitcoin. They're pricing off the dollar. They could say, well, I'll sell it to you in barrels of oil, but if they every time the price of oil changes, they change the number of barrels you have to have. That's not your oil is not the currency.
I'm gonna run this right back. Listen carefully to what he said earlier.
Currency.
Listen carefully.
It does not meet the test of a currency. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not around in 10 or 20 years.
Well, it's still here. It's still here, Warren. It's very interesting. He said he didn't think Bitcoin 11 years ago was going to be around 10 years from then. Well, it's here. And it's going through a lot of trouble. Let's go ahead and get into this report. Trump's geopolitical maneuvering continues to cast a shadow over Bitcoin's markets, intensifying volatility amid heightened Middle East tensions. Basically, this is what's going on. This is what's affecting the price. It is what it is. It's not rocket science. It's geopolitics. It's not a lot of institutional meddling. None of that. It's just geopolitics. It's just this particular potential war that is about to pop off. Hopefully it doesn't. But it seems like there's a good chance of this is basically happening. Unfortunately, let's get into this. Bitcoin tumbled back to 106. We saw this 106K earlier today as US President Donald Trump denied claims he was involved in brokering ceasefire. And we're talking the ceasefire agreement between Iran and Israel. This shook the markets. Now, here's a quote from Trump, and this particular tweet completely shook everything out of whack. Now, publicly seeking President Emmanuel Macron. Now, wrong is what he tweeted. He has no idea what I'm doing and what I'm on my way to do in Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that. Unquote. This actually sent Bitcoin spiraling down in other aspects of financial markets as well. Trump also advised in a secondary tweet. He told all the citizens of Tehran to evacuate immediately. Now, this is something that sent everything spiraling down, right? Now, a lot of people are saying that was rush hour. I don't know what the hell was going on, but a lot of people were trying to get out of Tehran. And I don't know if it was because of Trump's tweet, but this had an effect on the market as well. This spread panic across long, I think it was about 12 or 15 miles of gridlock after this tweet. People are trying to get out. Now, I think he's just trying to warn the troops, trying to get our troops out of harm's way. I get it. But I think these are irresponsible messages that maybe should not be posted on social media. I don't know. He also bemoaned Russia's removal from the group as well, indicating his support for the reclusion even amid the Ukraine war. So, not good for Ukraine. So we're talking about major war activity that is about to pop off, potentially about to pop off, right? These remarks sent Bitcoin into a fresh slide, falling as low as 106. We're at 103, cresting just above $103,000 at this point in time. Pretty much erased the all-time high. Big time future liquidations as well. Well above $347 million within that 24-hour period. That included Ethereum, XRP, and Solana as well. Slightly elevated declines on the Solana aspect to around 4%. And the equities index also dipped. So when I tell you this is across the board, I'm not joking. I am not joking. This is affecting massively, all across the board. Massive effect here on financial markets. And we don't really know the truth. There's so much that the president is saying. You're getting conflicting evidence from the Pentagon with their statements. And then when you look at all the different news outlets, everybody's reporting a different thing, and most of them are biased reports. So we don't know what the hell is going on, but we do know that it's affecting our market and a lot of the altcoins. You can see it. Now, over the last 7 days, let's get to this. This is this chart I wanted to show you. President Trump's Truth Social posts on geopolitical matters have repeatedly contributed to a decline in the Bitcoin price. We see that profusely within the last 2 to 3 weeks. All right. While he is not the sole factor of markets, the timing of his comments alongside price movements is a clear indication of volatility, Trump volatility. Now, Bitcoin appears to be behaving in a highly resilient manner amid high tensions across Russia, Ukraine, and Gaza, as well as Israel and Iran, though its safe haven status is weakened. Several key posts highlighted in the chart below resulted in a combined 10% decline, guys, but the net drop is around 3.5% due to Bitcoin's uncanny ability to hold the $100,000 floor. And I told you guys, that's ETFs. That particular situation, that 100K floor, that's all ETFs. That's all it is. You take that away and we're below 100K. Easily. These are some of the tweets that actually affected the Bitcoin chart. You had one that came out on June the 11th. And this was about a deal with China. It's a tariff deal that he stated was subject to approval. We never got a deal. I don't think we never got an official deal. The tariffs are still on, right? Everybody figured this out, and this sent Bitcoin from 110 all the way down to 106. This is June the 11th, right? And then we got another tweet, June the 13th. Along the same lines, essentially. But this is about the Iran situation. This sent Bitcoin from 108K all the way down to $103,000. All right. Then we consolidated a bit. And then we hit the all-time high just recently. And then we got another beautiful tweet from the president. I just read you that tweet. It was directed to Emmanuel Macron of France. And that pretty much that was a buzzkill for the market. We're sitting at a $104,000 right now, coming up off of 100,000K, $103,000 Bitcoin price. All of this was because of the president and his tweets. He had a direct effect on Bitcoin, guys, along with the geopolitical activity as well, along with what's going on with all of the bombing. Very crazy. This is what's happening. Now, this is the second time in the week we've seen BTC drop in sync with the actual equities while gold rallies or holds its price. So if you're thinking Bitcoin is better than gold, you better think again. You better think again. Gold is superior to Bitcoin. I don't care what anybody says. You can just look at it. It's rallying. It is rallying. It is a true storage of wealth. Bitcoin's actual safe haven status is actually in jeopardy due to the activities of what is going on in the White House, unfortunately. But I digress from that. Now, Tuesday moves also highlight the return of Trump volatility to financial markets, much like the first term of the cuff social media post, social media posts are now influence billions of capital inflow, particularly in crypto, where leverage and sentiment often amplifies abrupt shifts. Now, a lot of people are saying, please stop messaging on Truth Social, Mr. President, please. Let's stop tweeting. Let's just govern. Be the president. You don't have to tweet so much. You don't have to say everything that's on your mind. I think he had a fight with Tucker Carlson recently. The Tucker Carlson situation is very unfortunate. The things that were said shouldn't have never been posted by a sitting president. He literally attacked a citizen. You can't make this shit up, man. It is what it is. But this is affecting the markets. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's very interesting. But we're going to move back to the Senate. Let's get a check on the Genius Act. And let's see what's going on here.
Crapo, aye. Mr. Warnock, aye. Senators voting in the negative. Also Brooks, Bennett, Blumenthal, Blunt Rochester, Booker, Coons, Fetterman, Gillibrand, Hickenlooper, Hirono, Kim, King, Lujan, Murphy, Murray, Peters, Rosen, Sanders, Slotkin, and Smith.
Welcome
Mr.
to
Young,
the
aye.
show.
Thank you.
LMFG. Welcome to the show, brother. All right, can you hear me? There you go. How about now, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. No problem.
Welcome to the show, brother. I saw you backstage. This is a real nice NFT you got there. Well, look, actually, and I have to tell everybody, we're on the Senate floor here. We're looking, they're counting the votes for the Genius Act here, and we are ongoing. We don't know how this is going to turn out, but we'll see. What's your take on everything today so far, LMFG?
Oh, it's just wild and crazy. And like you just said with Ark and Circle, I think that was the 160 to 145 drop.
Yeah.
And then this is crazy. 103. I think it's just floating at 104. It's gonna lots going to depend on this. If this doesn't get past, I say below 100 grand.
Ms. Cortez Masto.
Sorry.
No. Mr. Warner.
You talking about Bitcoin?
No.
Yeah, Bitcoin
Yeah.
to go, and then it's going to be
Mr. Kane,
above
no.
that.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. It's very interesting, and you know the Circle IPO. I told you
Desserts
guys,
die.
it's a Trojan horse, and we're gonna get into that report, the Ark Invest report, and we'll get into what Arthur Hayes has to say because I think he has some interesting insights on what that Trojan horse consists of and what may come out of that thing. It's very interesting.
Mr. Thunai.
So we're looking at the Genius Act. This is a live view of the floor, and they're voting on it. And LMFG, this is a very important bill. Welcome to the show, Tracy. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing great.
No. Mr. Marshall, aye.
I wish they had a tally, you know, a tally up top, some graphics so we can see the voting, but you know. I heard a lot of no's earlier, a lot of no's. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I want to get into, and speaking of the Genius Act,
Ossoff, no.
let's go ahead and get into what Elizabeth Warren thinks about it. Now, obviously, and we'll go ahead and mute that. We don't want to interrupt. This particular senator, she does not like the language. LMFG. We talk about Elizabeth Warren a lot. She does not like stablecoins as well. I'm not sure if she's in favor of CBDCs. Not sure what she leans on that. I don't think she likes any type of digital involvement. I think she's a fiat maxi, and I think anything digital, she's not very friendly to. But here's the subheadline here. Senator Warren, claims Genius Act loophole poses risk, while experts argue strong safeguards exist. So there's a counterpart here. They're saying, you don't really know what you're talking about. There are a multitude of safeguards here that do exist and that protect us for mischievous behavior. Some say not so fast. Now, Senator Elizabeth Warren has voiced her fresh concerns about the Genius Act. She is voting no, obviously. a bill designed to regulate stablecoins in the U.S. financial system, ahead of its final vote scheduled for today. We're watching that. We're kind of tapping into that right now. So we'll go back to it here in a little bit. In the actual June 16th X statement, Warren actually claimed the bill could allow billionaires to launch stablecoins that monitor user activity and gain an unfair edge in the market. She also cautioned that any fallout from such initiatives may later require taxpayer bailouts. Now, here's the quote now from Elizabeth. This is the formal quote here. The Genius Act has a major loophole allowing big tech companies and major retailers, very interesting, she added, retailers, to issue their own private currencies structured as stablecoins. This bill shouldn't pass without amendments preventing these risks. What do you think about that, LMFG? Because I didn't see that. It's very interesting that a retail outlet is going to be able to basically establish their own retail stablecoin. Very interesting. So are we going to see Target stablecoins and Walmart stablecoin? It'd be pretty interesting. But she said these loopholes are very dangerous. What do you say, bro?
Yeah, I actually think it's going to come. I think that's what this is all about. And she's all hot against it because Trump made his own. So, you know, I was going to say, yeah, World Finance, they have their own now, right?
USD1. Yeah.
So that just irked her even more, you know. And like I said, she's with the banks, and nobody realizes it. The banks don't want it, so they're getting somebody to just get out there, scream and holler that it's no good, and try to kick this down the road as long as they can. I think that's all that's going on with this. I hope it passes, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. The banks do not want this. And we're probably going to get into the Coinbase. Coinbase, they want to tokenize stocks, essentially. That's a threat to the traditional way of buying stocks. All the brokers, Charles Schwab, all those at Robinhood, that's a threat to those guys. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that Coinbase is knee deep into the government as well. A lot of people are upset about the advertisement during the actual parade this weekend. So you have Coinbase, you have Justin Sun in deep with the Trump family. Don't get me started on those legal issues. I'm going to do a standalone video about that because what is going on between Justin Sun and Eric Trump, that's very fishy, and very illegal. We'll get into that. Elizabeth Warren absolutely represents the banking, the traditional way of banking. She's TradeFi all of the way. Welcome to the show, Ken, bro. I hadn't seen you in a while, bro. Hope everything is good. But the actual quote is very alarming. Major retailers are going to be able to actually create their own currency and wrap them and label them as stablecoins. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Now, her remarks follow recent speculation that major retailers like Amazon and Walmart are exploring entries into the space. This has added urgency to discussions around the scope of safeguards of the actual Genius Act. However, which they're voting on absolutely right now. Now, there's a big however. Market observers have pointed out that Warren's criticism and fears do not align with the bill's provisions. So is she making all of this up? Now, currently the Genius Act bars non-financial big tech companies, so they can't get involved. So did she just flat out lie about that? That's what it seems. Now, the big tech companies are directly barred from issuing stablecoins, which I would believe that would be, a particularly no-brainer. I would say that's a no-brainer. You can't allow them to do that. Now, it also enforces strict regulatory requirements, including full reserve backing, monthly audits, and comprehensive anti-money laundering compliance. Now, let's continue. So if a company like Amazon wanted to offer a stablecoin, it would likely need to set up a regulated financial entity or partner with an existing one. There has to be a regulatory bridge there. Now, market experts also say this process would involve extensive oversight from federal bodies like the Fed and the FDIC. What is going on, Jason? Welcome to the show, brother. So LMFG, the counterpart is saying Elizabeth Warren is flat out lying about the loophole. There is no loophole. There is AML protection. AML compliance is required. Senator Warren is lying out of her teeth. Big tech companies are barred from issuing stablecoins. So Miss Warren is lying through her teeth. According to the retort. What do you say, bro?
Yeah, it's ugly. And I seen that. And so when she started screaming, it was pretty much yesterday and today really getting loud.
Yeah.
And I'm just scratching my head. It is what it is. And because I read about that, and my thought is, so you're going to have your Capital Ones, your Visas, your MasterCard. They'll do the stable coins for the Amazon, the Walmarts, the Target, whatever, and it'll all be on the XRPL.
Yeah,
that's what I think. And that's why I said it'll come out, and this will get tweaked. If this gets passed, it'll get tweaked over the next year or two. You watch, it'll be tweaked a few times.
Yeah,
amendments to it or whatever. All
well,
good, I see.
Is she lying or is she telling the truth? I don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully not too late because they're voting on this. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll chime back in. We should get the tally within the hour or so. We'll see here. Let's continue because it gets better. It gets a whole lot better, guys. Now, the development comes as the Genius Act is now heading for a final vote in the Senate. It is actually happening right now. However, the bill faces significant opposition from critics like Congressman Justin Amash, which we don't hear a lot from Justin, who called it a backdoor effort to sabotage monetary innovation. He's a bank guy. He's definitely a bank guy. Yeah, he's a bank shiller. Now, he also warned that it could also allow the U.S. government to monitor and control emerging digital currencies. Now, that's what I thought CBDCs were. That's what they told me a CBDC was for, not a stablecoin. So when I tell you guys there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to CBDCs, there is. I'm not joking. Because now I don't think these officials, these congressmen and these senators, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand cryptocurrency. They really don't understand blockchain technology as well. They're just shooting at the hip. A CBDC on a wholesale level poses those threats, on a retail level as well. But a stablecoin, I'm not sure about that. I think they have their CBDCs and their stablecoins are mixed up, but I digress from that. Despite the opposition, industry observers such as Nate Garcia, president of ETF Store, believes the bill will likely pass. They know strong bipartisan support and growing political momentum behind the emerging industries as essential factors that would drive the stablecoin activity and the legislation do exist on a positive level. So will we see this pass? Elizabeth Warren says no. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's go ahead and move into this situation. This is really juicy right here. Now, this is what I was telling you guys earlier in the actual broadcast, way earlier. Ark Invest dumps $51 million worth of Circle shares amid 400% rally. And there are valuation concerns per Arthur Hayes, which is those concerns are very scary. Circle's shares have seen a 4,000% boost since the actual IPO surge amid strong investor demand for exposure to the stablecoin market. Now, I will tell you, if this particular Genius Act, this particular bill that they're voting on in the U.S. Senate at this point in time, if it doesn't pass, this is not going to be good for Circle. Not good at all. Now, you're looking at Kathy Woods, Ark Invest investment manager. They have sold over 500 million of its holdings in Circle. LMFG, we were talking about this. Now, this is an internet group, Circle. You know Circle, the issuer of the USDC stablecoin. Big time stablecoin there. Market cap of around $61 billion, right behind USDT. On the 16th, Ark dumped 342,000 shares of Circle's newly formed IPO. This was valued at around $51.7 million, guys. Based on the day's closing, I think the closing price, this is based on $151.06. I would say that was a good sell, LMFG. But what spooked Ark Investment? This is the question. What spooked this particular situation? Go ahead, bro.
Right. If you look at the chart, it was at like 160. So I didn't know they sold it. I thought it was them doing that. So somebody else started that. If they sold it at 150, because you look at the chart, it was straight down. You know, I don't know.
What are we looking at? I mean, sometimes when you see these large sales, there's some insider information, right? What do they know?
A lot of my friends, they said, you know, should I get in there? And it was like 85, 90 bucks. And I says, you know what? It's going to be like them all. It's going to find a space. It's going to level out. And then it's going to crash by 200, 300%, you know, and go back down to what it came out. Just like what Coin did when Coinbase let Coin go, you know, and the hell that went all the way up to what, $400 or $500, I think. And then right back down to 50. And if you got it when it went back down, you're doing pretty good today. I think it's at 240, somewhere around there.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, you have the CFO of Coinbase. She's selling too. She's dumping coin. She's literally dumping the Coinbase stock as well. We'll get to that. What's going on? You know what I mean? We'll get to that. They're saying it's just normal selling. You know, we're just healthy selling. This is what the quote was from Elisa Haas, the CFO of Coinbase. They're selling too. We'll get to that in a little bit. Now, the divestment actually affected 3 of Ark Exchange's trade funds. We're talking ETFs. According to the firm's trading file obtained by Crypto Slate, the Ark Invest Innovation ETF, which is the ticker's ARKK, offloaded 196,000 shares. Meanwhile, Ark Next Generation, this is another fund that was holding these actual IPO shares, they sold 92,000. And then the third was the Ark FinTech Innovation ETF, which had about 53,000 shares in a total dump effort. This amounted to around $51.7 million. So LMFG, they were heavily invested and they offloaded everything. Offloaded all of the Circle shares. What's going on, man? Now, Circle stock has experienced a notable rally since its initial public offering. That's what IPO stands for, just in case you didn't know, guys. Earlier this month, according to Yahoo Finance data, the stock has climbed by nearly 4,000%, over 150. I think LMFG, you said 160 bucks. You saw that before the sell-off, I believe.
Yep, 160.
Okay.
And I just checked. These coin was at like 258, and now it's at 247. So.
We're talking about the Circle. I think you're talking about Coinbase.
Yeah, you're talking about Circle.
Yeah.
I brought up Coin.
Okay.
The same thing. The same thing's happening right now as we speak to both.
Wow. Yeah, they know something. They know something.
Yep.
Yeah, they know something. There's some insider information that's floating around because these are some big time sales, big time dumps. We'll get into the Coinbase dumper in a little bit. Wow. What the hell is going on? Now, the actual company's valuation is around 36 billion, but Arthur Hayes is saying, whoa, wait, guys. This stinks. We'll get to that. Now, market observers have linked this surge in Circle's dominant role in the stablecoin industry. The firm USDC stablecoin is the link. It is the second largest stablecoin in the sector of market capitalization, well over 61. It's at 62 at this point in time. And of course, that is the largest one next to USDT, right? So of course, they hold a very large stablecoin, lots of volume. It's a very attractive IPO. I get it. So why is Ark offloading so much? I mean, basically their entire stash. What's going on with Coinbase? Why is the CFO, the chief financial officer, dumping shares? This is very interesting. Now, obviously, this is connected to what's going on overseas. Obviously, I told you guys earlier, what Trump is doing, what is happening overseas is affecting all financial markets. It's really affecting crypto. And a lot of it is going underreported. Jason says, perhaps something to do with JP Morgan Chase filing a patent on stable coins this past Sunday. Yeah, I saw that. I actually saw that. I think that has a lot to do with their actual infrastructure, their DeFi infrastructure. They have their own decentralized finance, DApps. They have proper permission blockchain technology. JP Morgan is about to go very heavily into these markets. And I think they're just getting ready for it. But that patent, that was heavy. That was very heavy, what they did. Check this out. And I want to get your take on this, LMFG. Actually, let's go ahead and move back to the Senate before we get into that. Let's see what we have here. We're still getting votes. This is a Genius Act voting live. We're seeing what's going to happen with this massive stablecoin bill. There's a lot more to it as well. It's not just stablecoins, but we are in, this is active voting as Bitcoin sits just below 105,000. So it's, you know, this is sausage making at its best, right? Kenbro says, so what is all this going to do for DeFi in projects like Paw and Sue? Well, I have to tell you, when it comes to stablecoin activity, these new retail stablecoins that apparently Elizabeth Warren is saying is going to come to fruition if this is passed, they got to have somewhere to go, right? They're going to have to implant themselves. They're going to have to use existing infrastructure. And a lot of these DeFi platforms like Paw and Sue, they're going to be very attractive to a lot of these retail entities as facilitators for their activities. So it's going to be very, very advantageous for a blockchain technology like Sue, Paw Chain, anything that's like very heavy in the decentralized finance industry. They're going to benefit from this legislation, along with stablecoins as well. So if I'm a blockchain developer, I'm going to make sure I'm going to be able to facilitate decentralized finance activity. I'm going to make sure my blockchain tech is very friendly to decentralized application development, right? We're going to make sure we can facilitate RWA as well, tokenized assets as well. It's going to be very huge. We also have the Clarity Act to this, probably going to follow this if this gets through. We're talking the Genius Act. Both of these particular bills are very much needed in order to usher in the crypto ETFs. We need this language, so. But at this point in time, nothing. Crickets. All we're seeing is a sausage making in real time. Not a lot of chatter. We heard some yay and some nay votes earlier, but
Mr. McConnell, aye.
Hold on.
Mr. Bozeman, aye. Mr. Sullivan, aye.
Yeah,
Ms.
I don't think,
Ms. Cantwell, no. Mr. Schmidt, aye.
Okay. So we have some votes that are coming in here. All right, so LMFG, what do you think? Are we going to get passage?
I don't know. As I've put it, like 75-25. I think it will, but we'll see. It's going to be really stupid if they don't. You said the Canada one. It's already. I read that it was going live on Thursday.
It's actually going live tomorrow, is what I heard. Is what I read, actually.
All right, so Well, it's all approved. It's just a matter of the time that it goes live in the next day or two. So if we don't do it here, it's stupid. You know, because the SEC is supposed to decide on that today. I forget which one is up. One of the XRP ETFs is up today, and that should be going live. So, or they're going to kick it down the road. I have a feeling they're going to kick it down the road. Which is just, I don't know what these guys are doing.
You think so?
Banks, man, it's the banks and the Disney trips. I'm telling you, it's the only thing that makes sense. And it's stopping the Congress and from doing anything. You know, keeping the SEC under their thumb as long as they can here. I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
Well, I have to tell you, I have a delay. I have a delay in my audio for some reason. I might have to reset my mixer. It's like an echo, is what I'm hearing. Not too sure. Well, let's go ahead and get into this. Arthur Hayes, he has some very scathing remarks when it comes to Circle. When it comes to this IPO being a Trojan horse, which I think it is. I think necessarily this is what we're looking at. Let's get into this now. Arthur Hayes, Chief Investment Officer at Maelstrom, has voiced strong concerns about the hype surrounding the firm's valuation. We're talking the Circle IPO valuation. $36 billion is going to be that valuation. And it's pretty high. Arthur says this is not right. Something off. It is very off. Man, I got a big time delay. Can you hear me, LMFG? Big time delay.
Yeah, I hear you fine. And it looks like you're fine with the video.
Yeah, I got a big time delay, bro. I might have to reset something. I don't know.
Your video's in sync with your voice, so.
Well, I'm talking about audio. My audio in my headphones. Big time delay. Big time. Let's see here. It is very annoying. All right, so hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
This is very annoying. All right, I'm gonna just try to soldier through this. Jay says it sounds good. Yeah, my headphones. Massive delay. Let me see. I'll just take one off. So let's get into this. Now, I want to get into this because Arthur Hayes has some scathing remarks. These quotes, I want to talk to you about it, LMFG, because I kind of believe what he's saying is to be true. Now, according to Arthur, according to the particular Circle's IPO, it suggests could trigger a wave of lookalike stablecoins. Now, I want to get to his quote, actually, before I get to this. This is a quote from Arthur Hayes. Now, quote, to be clear, Circle is grossly overvalued, but the price will continue to levitate, unquote. So that is normal activity. You have your pumps and your dumps in crypto, but you do have a padding effect when it comes to these IPOs. Now, according to him, let's move on with this because it gets better. Circle IPO success could trigger a wave of lookalike stablecoins. I'm talking to projects with flimsy business models. He also said that the sectors continue under current excitement. This might echo the lead up to the Terra USD collapse. Check this out, especially if US regulations remain on the light side. Just that alone. And he mentioned Terra USD. He's basically saying the Circle IPO is going to be a Trojan horse. It's going to usher in Terra USD like collapses. Now, Hayes also noted that future issuers would exploit market momentum and lean on traditional finance credentials to raise funds, even without solid fundamentals. This is very scary. Now, according to him, these are two quotes, and I want you to react to this, LMFG. This is very scathing. Now, according to Arthur Hayes, quote, a very bankable, charismatic individual will get on stage and spew all sorts of nonsense, wave his most likely male hands to and fro, and convince you why the leveraged piece of dog shit is about to corner the multi-trillion-dollar stablecoin total addressable market, TAM, unquote. So he's basically saying there's going to be a lot of snake oil salesmen. This is going to be on stage telling you to jump into these frivolous stablecoins with unbelievably out of the woodwork valuations that are basically untrue. This is what's coming. A lot of frivolous IPOs. And this Circle one is just a Trojan horse. Here's another quote. Hayes continued that the avalanche of copycats would eventually populate the bubble and collapse the market. The bubble will pop. This is a quote. After the launch of a stablecoin issue on a public market, most likely in the US. Now this is, this is his opinion, right? This is hypothetics. But let's continue. That separates fools from tens of billions of capital by using a combination of financial engineering, leveraging, and amazing showmanship, unquote. So LMFG, we're talking about snake oil salesman type activity. This is what he's talking about. And he mentioned Terra USD, that collapse of that particular stable coin. Is this what's about to happen, bro? Because we already see a lot of the liquidity that's being sucked from altcoins. When the IPO, the Circle IPO was actually initially launched, I'm sorry. What do you think about this, man? I mean, is he just blowing wind?
Yeah, I don't know, brother. It's crazy. I mean, you got everybody saying this and then somebody else saying the total opposite.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Hey, we got Lindsey Graham. We got Lindsey Graham on stage here. Let's see what he's talking about.
Mr. President, let me first thank Senator Graham for your thoughtful comments and frankly,
I think we missed him.
With me and frankly, more importantly, standing with our family of South Carolina as we faced one of the horrific challenges our state has ever faced in the history. I
want to go back. I wonder what he said.
A very provocative history on
I think we got a
race.
tally too. Let me back up 5 minutes. Let's back up 5 minutes because I think we saw a tally come up on screen. So we'll be able to see what's going on. Let's have a look. I backed up the feed about 5 minutes, and we should see a tally of the Genius Act.
Just have it up there permanent.
Yeah, I know. Usually that is the case, but unfortunately, they're not keeping it up. But I did see it pop up when I was kind of trailing back, so we'll see. Oh, so Relic said he was talking about the shooting that happened at the church. Okay.
No.
So it had nothing to do with the stablecoin. I don't think he cares about this act. Oh, okay. I got you. The South Carolina, got you. That's what he was talking about. Okay, so basically, I want to catch this tally, and it should come up here in a little bit, right at the top of the screen, and then we'll go back
Yeas are
live.
57, the nays are 40. The nomination is confirmed. Under the
Okay, this
previous
is a
order, the motion
nomination.
to reconsider
Hold
is
on, this is
considered
not even the
made
Genius
and
Act.
laid
What are
upon
they
the table,
doing?
and the president will be
So this is a
immediately
nomination
notified the
of
Senate's
Gary
actions.
Andrews of Virginia to be an Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services. He got the nod. What is going on with the Genius Act? This was supposed to be voted on 2 hours ago.
The senator from South Carolina.
Thank you. I'm on the floor today with
Let's go back live.
And then prayed, including him.
All right, so no action here. No action here. I don't know, LMFG, I don't know. Are we going to get the vote? Or we're going to get something today? Or they're just delaying it? I don't understand.
Yeah, I had read earlier that they said 4:30 that they were going to vote on it.
All right, I'm getting conflicting information about that. Relic 04 says, yay, not to it yet. Okay. Yeah, not. Okay, they're not to it. They're not to it. Okay. So they will wait until the stock market closes. You think so? Relic says they're going to wait until the stock market closes. It would probably be smart. I could have swore we were going to get the vote early. Yeah, not sure. We'll get back to it. So, you know, Senator and I think they voted somebody into the human service and sectors over there in that particular state. I don't know, but congratulations, whoever that is. They got in. Very slim vote. I don't know, but we're going to get to this. Now, I told you guys about this sell-off. Coinbase, CFO. Coinbase insider sold more than $5 million worth of shares over the last 3 months. Now, this CFO, Elisa Haas, she said this was just basic stuff, clean, run-of-the-mill. We do this all the time. Let's get into this now. I'll get to this comment. Relic04, he says they usually always wait until the stock market closes for anything crypto. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. The suspense is killing me. Let's get into this now. Coinbase reported insider sales of more than $5 million worth of stock. This is over a 3-month period. CFO says this is not a big deal. She was also the largest seller. Let's get into this. Now, Coinbase Insider continued to offload stock on the market. On Tuesday, June 16th, Coinbase filed a Form 144, which is formality, with the Securities and Exchange Commission, reporting all insider sales. The company disclosed that insiders sold over 26,000 shares of Coinbase stock since March 2025. Now, the net proceeds from these sales tallied well over 5.6 mil. The largest and possibly only seller was CFO Elisa Haas. Now, Haas personally sold 21,000 shares in the 3 transactions. There's big clips. Now, one each month since March, netting at around 4.5 mil. On the same dates, ABC 2021 LLC, she's a sole actual member of this entity. This LLC, which she owns, she's the only member of, sold a total of 5,000 shares. That's about 1.14 mil. And there's the actual receipts right here. Now, these sales appear to be a part of routine financial management, per the CFO statements. This is by many executives as well. Elisa owned 114,000 shares of Coinbase stock since March 2025. Directly, she also owned 15,000 shares according to the actual LLC, ABC 2021. This is her LLC. She's the only member of it. So very interesting. Very interesting activities here. Now, here's a statement from the actual executives. Let me get to some comments first. Relic04 says they use, Jay says most of the traders I talked with mainly bought Circle just to flip it for cash, not to hold for long term. Yeah, good idea. That was a good idea. Because the way this looks, something's bad is about to happen to that stock. Now, Jay also says, is she taking a page from Kathy Wood's book? And you're talking about Elisa Haas, the CFO of Coinbase, I believe. I don't know, man. This is what I was telling you guys earlier when we were talking about the Kathy Woods, and you just mentioned that with her offloading of the Circle IPO, big time. Is Elisa Haas? Did she get some inside information? She sold a lot of Coinbase stock, big time. She held a lot, but of course she's a CFO. That's the inside perk. Let's continue. Now, Coinbase executives continue to offload shares. This is a sub-headline. Management of publicly traded companies can freely sell the shares on the market. Everybody, we know this. Obviously, it's free market. Now, however, such sales are closely watched by other investors. We're talking about the shrimps. We're talking about the lower level investors. They're going to watch these sales. All right. Just like if you were in a cryptocurrency project, you watch the whale activity. We all do, right? This is what's going on. Now, let's continue. Large sales in particular can sometimes signal that executives are losing confidence in the company or believe the stock is overvalued. This is what is happening. Ms. Haas has inside information. as a CFO, she should. She's a freaking CFO. Let's continue. She also denied that these sales reflect a lack of confidence in the company. Of course she's going to say that. Here's a quote. This is a former quote from Elisa, and I got to get your take on this, bro. All of our insiders, myself, Brian Armstrong, Amelia, and Paul, those on the phone, and all of our insiders, we all have shared long-term conviction in Coinbase. Haas stated, quote, "It's important to know that these sales account for small portions of insiders' total holdings in Coinbase," unquote. So basically she's saying my 114,000 shares of Coinbase, the selling of it did nothing. It's not going to hurt. We're good. Everything's good. Foundation straight. CEO Brian Armstrong has been one of the biggest sellers of Coinbase stock. Armstrong sold nearly $290 million worth of Coinbase shares in 2021, soon after the company went public. So the CEO, as soon as this company went public, dumped $290 million worth of the shares. LMFG, your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, well, I seen that coming when, you remember, they said they're going to come out at $5, then it was $10, and I don't even think they got much higher than that, and it came out and it was at like $300. You know, I seen that coming. And when it comes to the shares, that is SLP. I seen it at the Children's Place. So when the quarterly bonuses came out, I mean, as soon as it was announced, because they were a public company, you'd see all the directors, the VPs, the presidents, the CIO, they all go in the office and close the door. They're selling half of their bonus.
You can see the smoke coming from under the door, the cigar smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy. So they're going to be seeking approval. It's a preemptive letter for the actual tokenization of equities very soon. They're hoping the pro-crypto regime, all right, Trump, Paul Atkins, hopefully they can get that approved by the SEC. This is a non-action letter, no action letter, I'm sorry. And they're just seeking exemptive relief, I'm sorry. This is reported out of Reuters. So, and this is happening. Tokenized assets are a real thing. RWAs are a real thing. Coinbase is wanting to lead that charge when it comes to tokenized equities. So they're seeking regulatory approval. What they're doing behind closed doors is not good. So, and if I'm a small investor, I'm getting the hell out of there. If I'm seeing this happening up top, I'm getting the hell out. I'm out. All right. If I'm seeing Cathie Woods and Ark Invest remove that much capital from the IPO, Circle IPO, I'm kind of reevaluating my position. I'm going to reevaluate my position. It is what it is. I don't know about you, LMFG, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Now, Relic04 has commented, "I'm personally sitting all in stable coins and cold storage." Yeah, pretty much that's what I'm doing too. I'm getting yield. I got everything. I got a few coins, that I'm still in my conviction plays, my solid plays. And I'll give it to you, 2 blockchain platforms that are very solid. And then the rest consolidated into stable coins. I'm getting yield. So I get what you're doing. Very smart. Got some cold storage action going on too as well. Relic says, "I'd rather be safe than sorry right now." Absolutely. I don't mind missing out on some gains to be safe. Not many know what's about to happen in this world. Absolutely, bro. But totally agree with what you're saying. Let's move back to the Senate. See what we have going on here.
The 1.6 billion. So from 5 billion to basically 1 billion in 1933. So a big drop in what the United States was able to do. The U.S. gross domestic product fell nearly in half from $104 billion in 1929 to just $57 billion in 1932.
Damn.
And the unemployment rate rose from 3.2% to a peak of around 23% in 1932. So the Great Depression had arrived. In my state, the state of Washington, we've always been dependent on trade. Back then, lumber was our main
Okay, we're talking
export, and
trade.
the trade war
Getting a
essentially
history
destroyed
lesson.
that industry. Production dropped 70%.
Still nothing about the GNSX, so we're probably a couple hours from that. Let's go ahead and check out this stock. Stocks are getting hammered, guys. S&P almost down 1%. We have Dow Jones 0.68%. NASDAQ kind of climbed up a little bit. It was down 1%. The VIX is up. The volatility index is up. That's not good. 10%. Not good. Across the board, red. Futures do not look any better. Okay, probably 1% drops depending on what happens overseas. Depending on what happens with the war effort, because it is a full-blown war. Let's not kid ourselves. It's affecting the markets. Full-blown war, undeclared situation. The Pentagon says, no, we're just protecting the troops.
Yeah, and the oil is going to hurt, man. It's at like $75 now, I think. And I don't see that stopping. Not pretty.
Tron goes public. What do you think about this Tron situation?
Yeah,
I want to pivot to
I've
this.
seen that. I don't know. This don't make sense either.
Oh, you know?
Is it going to be controlled by a DAO? I mean,
Do we trust that? Do we trust a Tron DAO?
How? No. You need the Clarity Act for that, man.
Exactly. We're going to need that Clarity Act. Justin Sun is taking TRX to Wall Street. This is the headline. U.S. listing confirmed. He also invested in Eric Trump's business as well. $100 million investment. Dude, there's so many questions. I have so many questions. So many legal issues here. But Tron is going to go live. Tron Inc. is the ticker. I don't know what the ticker is, but I think we had an increasement in that price. I think Tron went up a little bit. 29 cents. I believe. It's at 27, sold off. Everybody sold that news. This is what is going on, guys. What is going on with Mr. Hoskins? I have to ask you this, LMFG, as we pivot over here to this. What is going on? Now, I want to get to this. Now, we're going to listen to this.
That it will not materially impact.
Here's the thing. We talked about Cardano. That's going to be that protocol that was erected, not battle tested. We talked about this last week, guys, about the Cardano protocol, bridging Bitcoin into the ecosystem, ADA ecosystem. Now, the Solana, one of the Solana devs, the one that was suspended, the one is, I don't know if that's the one that got caught in the hotel. I don't know, of some very alleged information that was going on here. Yes, Jay, Tron is going public, bro. But it's not good. It's very illegal activity. But I digress. Now, LMFG, I want to talk about this because we did have ADA. They're going to be implementing Cardinal. It is implemented. A lot of people are saying that it's not battle tested. Even the CTO said it's really not ready. But here you go, guys. It's here. We talked about this. Now, this is what Charles said he's going to do with part of the treasury. And then we had one of the Solana devs. I don't know which Solana dev. I can't remember. I don't know if they're all suspended right now. Not Solana. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting them confused with the Pump.fun devs.
Pump.fun. I was just going to say.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Let me correct this. The Solana dev. I can't remember. It was one of the co-devs. Said some really nasty things about this notion. Now, first, let's listen to this.
I do believe that it will not materially impact Cardano by doing a conversion of 5 to 10% of the treasury into stable assets and assets like Bitcoin. And in doing this, we can create a yield and that yield on an annual basis can be used to purchase ADA and over time replenish the treasury. And if this program is successful, then we can actually continue that strategy on an annualized basis and over a period of 5 to 10 years, potentially grow to a $1 billion plus stablecoin treasury and Bitcoin treasury to augment and enhance the ADA value in the treasury that we have. This sets us up for great returns and for a pretty stable floor for the ecosystem as a whole, like you would want in any good sovereign wealth.
Let's hear it again. I always like to replay things like this, and then we'll get a reaction to it.
I do believe that it will not materially impact Cardano by doing a conversion of 5 to 10% of the treasury into stable assets and assets like Bitcoin. And in doing this, we can create a yield, and that yield on an annual basis can be used to purchase ADA and over time replenish the treasury. And if this program is successful, then we can actually continue that strategy on an annualized basis and over a period of 5 to 10 years, potentially grow to a $1 billion plus stablecoin treasury and Bitcoin treasury to augment and enhance the ADA value in the treasury that we have. This sets us up for great returns and for a pretty stable floor for the ecosystem as a whole, like you would want in any good sovereign wealth fund. I do believe that it will not materially.
Now, LMFG, your take, and then we'll get into what the Solana dev said. He said it was dumb to even move any type of trade. Now, listen, Charles is talking about a basket, but this is not what the Solana dev is saying. He's saying it's very dumb for that amount of ADA to be converted into Bitcoin, especially in this volatile climate, essentially. How volatile Bitcoin is, it's very dumb to do this. Now, I don't know if they're going to be using Cardano to do this, their own protocol that's not battle tested. I don't know if that's smart. I don't know where they're going to do this conversion. But what is your take on this, man?
I think it's a pretty slick idea. I mean, I think there's $1.2 billion there right now at that 60 cents. And if you can enhance that, by all means, it's sitting there anyway. He's flipping out and getting all pissed off because nobody's using those funnies. Those monies are there for grants for projects. And every time they vote on some, it doesn't get through. It doesn't get through. So he's getting pissed off about that. It's cracking me up. It's almost like he wishes he didn't leave, you know what I mean? Because he can't do nothing now. It's fully decentralized. It's all up to the voting. So I think it's a slick idea. Why not?
Yeah.
You got the monies there. Hell, maybe even start getting into loaning and borrowing with it, Why not? You can pretty much be a bank without being a bank, That's the way I look at it. I think it's a pretty sharp idea. We'll have to see. It has to be voted on. So,
yeah, it's about 100 million of ADA that they want to actually convert into Bitcoin, is what I'm saying. Going to boost it to 50. Hold on.
I believe there's
so it's 100 mil. I want to make sure I got that correct. 100 mil of ADA.
$100 million worth of ADA.
Right. 100 mil worth.
Yeah, I believe there's 1.7 billion ADA there in the treasury.
So we're talking just a fraction.
Fraction of it. Yeah, that's why I say, and if it loses, oh well, hell, we're all in crypto. We know about that.
Dude, that's a even if it's a fraction, bro, $100 million loss. God forbid if the Cardano protocol gets hacked. Right? Now they're going to be using this multi-sig technology. And I think they're talking about the Cardano protocol. I really do. I think that I guess they're going to use their own money to test this out. I don't know. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm reading. They're going to be using Cardano's advanced multi-sig 2 technology, enabling direct Bitcoin integration without intermediaries. It sounds like Cardano. I could be wrong, but this is going to boost DeFi liquidity. This is what he said. Now, the retort from the Solana dev, Anatoly. He's saying this is so dumb. You know what you should do? You should go ahead and invest in US Treasury bills, not Bitcoin. What do you think about that? Would you favor US Treasuries over Bitcoin at this point in time?
I would say no, but again, at the same time, if Nobody's touching all those monies that are sitting there. Why not invest it? So go 100 million into this Bitcoin thing, 100 million into treasuries. That's the way I look at it. You know, I think it's a slick idea. And him coming out saying that, I think he's shooting himself in the foot, no?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Well, you know, U.S. Treasury bills, especially that 30-year, not good. Not good. I think Basin was trying to force that auction on a lot of countries, a lot of leaders, and they hell no. We're good. We're good. U.S. Treasury bills over Bitcoin. It's a very interesting, discussion. Very interesting. I don't think anybody's going to go. I think most people are going to buy Bitcoin over U.S. Treasury bills. But I get it. They're trying to put a lot of those and wrap those into stablecoins. Hopefully, that is the hope, that the stablecoin, once it's passed the bill, a lot of these stablecoins are going to be investing heavy in Treasury bills. Maybe that's what the Genius Act is. It's a bill that's going to usher in relief for a Treasury bill. I don't know. I'm just saying. Now, Charles is saying this strategy aligns with the 2023 study from the Journal of Bitcoin Research, showing 68% of DeFi projects, decentralized finance projects, benefit from diversified treasuries, suggesting Anatoly's stance may overlook empirical evidence favoring assets and their diversification within volatile markets. I totally get it. But Anatoly says it's dumb. Buy U.S. treasuries. Convert ADA into treasuries. Yikes. I don't know. Meanwhile, the ADA community is lashing back. Now, I saw this earlier. This is funny because this is true. And we were talking about these outages because the Solana devs are saying, no, our blockchain's pretty stable, guys. It's a Cadillac. Here's some data on those outages. Now, between 2021 and 2024, all right, about a 3-year situation, there was a trend where Solana faced outages every 2 months on an average. This is per cryptomaniac.com data. You could look this up. Which raised questions about the blockchain's reliability. So why are you critiquing others? This is what people are saying. It's like, you want to be the future of finance. You better get this taken care of, because I don't want my financial future wrapped up into a blockchain that can experience outages to the tune of 2 per month. This is what we saw between 2021 and 2024. And I know they want to forget this. I know they want everybody to forget this. We have short-term memory issues as human beings. I get it. We ingest too much sugar, too much meat. So our short-term memory is trash. But I still remember these outages, right? And it was pretty significant. So hopefully they fix that. Because I know I saw a tweet saying that Solana is the future of finance. God, I hope not. Not in its current state. We deserve better. But I digress in that. I want to talk about this now. And I think let's go ahead and get back to the Senate floor. And then if there's nothing there, I'm going to get the member giveaway out of the way, get some cash out to the members. We're going to pick 3 members and we'll close the show off. Let's go ahead and get back to the Senate, and then we'll get to some comments too as well. Let's see what we have here. Well, I think it timed out.
Strong economies. Neither should
we're live on the Senate
economic
floor.
fairness.
Let's see what we have here.
Neither should protecting working families. They don't have to do it this way. Now, I'm always game to roll up my sleeves and dig into the balance sheet, but we haven't seen from the other side that they're willing to negotiate or really invest in the long-term economic growth. I'd suggest that we write a budget that reflects our values and puts tax cuts toward working families first. A budget that strengthens the middle class, one that keeps our economy strong and will keep it growing for generations to come.
All right, so
is not any of that.
We're talking about it.
I urge my Republican colleagues in the House and the Senate not to temporarily put a pass on their values and to support this, again, I think truly reckless fiscal bill. I hope that we can come together and
I think we're just talking about
negotiate
Trump's bill,
a
not
better
the
bill
Genius Act.
that does more economic growth and puts a far, far lesser penalty on the working people of America.
Yeah, that's what
Thank
we're
you, Mr.
talking
President, I yield the floor.
about. All right, so probably, I think, Relic, you're right. We're probably going to get that vote after the stock market closes. I think they're talking about the spending bill.
Mr. President, as every high school student of government knows, the Constitution of the United States of America provides for 3 co-equal branches of government: the legislative branch under Article 1, the judicial branch under Article 3, and the executive branch under Article 2. What I'd like to talk about briefly is the role of the chief executive, the President of the United States.
Uh-oh.
Under
Here we go.
our Constitution, the President has vast authorities. The chief executive enforces federal laws, oversees the entire federal executive branch of government, manages federal agencies and departments, includes appointing and removing high-ranking officials like cabinet members and agency heads, subject to Senate confirmation for certain positions. The President of the United States, the chief executive, is also the commander-in-chief. He leads our armed forces and directs military operations. While only Congress can declare war, the President can deploy troops and respond to immediate threats, often with congressional authorization, but not always. The President, the chief executive, the head of the executive branch, can grant pardons and reprieves for federal crimes except in cases of impeachment. This power is nearly absolute and cannot be overturned. The President also has legislative powers in the form of a veto. He can veto legislation passed by Congress, preventing those acts of Congress from becoming law unless both chambers override that veto with a 2/3 majority vote.
No, you're good, Jay.
And while the President
You're okay, man. Glad to see you in the chat, bro.
He can propose legislation, and often does, and influences the legislative agenda by
And welcome to everybody
proposing
that's
budgets,
listening
delivering
as
the
well.
State of the Union address and advocating for certain policies. The President can, the chief executive of our government, can call special sessions of Congress, and in rare cases actually adjourn Congress if the House and the Senate cannot agree on adjournment. The head of the executive branch, the President of the United States, is also our chief diplomat.
Are we getting a history lesson?
U.S. foreign policy.
Or basically reasserting
negotiates treaties and
the powers of the
ambassadors
president?
with Senate confirmation.
This is what I'm thinking.
The President can also enter into executive agreements with foreign nations which do not require Senate approval but are binding during that President's term. The President is also, as
What
part
is
of his
Uplound?
diplomatic powers, serves as our primary representative in international relations. And then when it comes to judges, the Article 3 branch, the President of the United States, the head of the executive branch, nominates federal judges, including Supreme Court judges, obviously subject to Senate confirmation, as well as members of the inferior judiciary. Though the Justice Department, the Solicitor, through the Justice Department, the Solicitor General, the President can also influence legal
all right.
interpretations in cases.
I think we know what's going on here. I think I know what's going on here. Just trying to reiterate what the president can do, because a lot of people aren't really happy with what is going on overseas. And I think there's a bill that's trying to get through that. It's going to prevent the president from going to war, essentially. So I think what the senator is doing is basically reasserting the abilities of the president, what he can do. Trump is not listening at all. You're right, Jay. He can give two shits about what this guy's saying. He doesn't care. But I think Senator Cohen, he's up here and he's trying to tell everybody, you may not like what he's doing, but he has the power to do it. Unfortunately, he can do things without congressional approval, especially in a time national security issue, especially what's going on in LA, in Southern California. Everybody's like, why are the Marines there? By the way, that detail that they pulled into that area, nasty detail. Those Marines, nasty. So if you're in LA, be cool, be chill. Don't jack around with that particular detail. I digress from that. That's just a little warning. Be chill. That detail is nasty.
It'd be more than getting just your eye shot out.
You don't want to jack around with the Marine detail that they deployed. That is a nasty detail. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, you guys know, you know. If you know, you know. Be cool, LA. Please don't throw anything at the vehicles. Be cool. All right. That is not your neighborhood sheriffs. Those are not your local precincts, the beat cops, right? That's not the National Guard. That is a very nasty detail that was deployed there. So hopefully everything is good. But let's get back to Senator Cohen, because he's basically saying, this is what the president can do. You may not like it, but he can do these things, especially when the nation is under distress. He can do things without congressional approval. Now, as far as declaration of war, there has to be some very serious things that are going on, especially on an intelligence level. It has to be serious. It has to be justified, obviously. The Pentagon is saying all the warships, all the warplanes, they are there to protect the troops. It's a defense measure. So we haven't seen any bombs dropped. We just see Israel and Iran volleying different missiles, things of that nature. We've seen some malfunctions with the Iron Dome, to where we've seen interceptors actually turn around and target Israel. It was weird. I think it's just malfunctions. I don't think that there are any hacking of the Iron Dome. I don't think that's happening. I think sometimes these systems, these weapon systems, they malfunction. Technology is not perfect, right? I think the Iron Dome has a 98th percentile interceptive rate. It's pretty damn good. I think 10% are getting through, but that 10% can be very destructive. So this is what Senator Cohen is saying, basically. But I still think the president needs to be very, very careful. This is a very sensitive situation, and this can crater our country. We're already in a financial tailspin. We're already in a debt-based collapse. A war could send inflation through the roof. And that's something we don't need in this country, especially right now. So what you say? I think I stepped on you, LMFG. You got a comment on that, bro?
No, all good.
Yeah. Let's get to Mac McCloskey says, good day to everyone. Good day to buy Arrow down the most of my bag. So that's what I'm stacking. You're stacking Arrow. I don't know what Arrow is. Relic 04, he says, stable. Why is the Stablecoin Act more important than everything else, like the strategic reserve or the stockpile? I get it, man. Makes me think stablecoin is going to be very important soon. Listen, a stablecoin is a stablecoin. You can get yield on stablecoins right now. Pretty close to what you're getting at your bank. A little bit better. Maybe a percentile better, right? But it's still a stablecoin. The usability of it, it's like a Trojan horse. Again, it can be good or bad, right? Are you talking about Aerodome? Got you. Yeah, I like Aerodome. It's a good platform. Good DeFi platform. Relic also says, hate to be bearish right now, but I don't trust these people. I don't trust them either, bro. I don't trust them either. Jay Shelton says, I think it's a smart move long term. Yeah. See, Relic says, just found you on and subscribe. Appreciate the subscription, brother. Welcome to the subscription group, man. Hand clap to you, Relic. Stay cool, brother. We'll see you on the next one, man. Jay, you're right, man.
I see Jay asked about the capital gains.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Bill? Yeah, that's in the big tax bill, which I think they were going to be voting on later this week. if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Genius Act.
No, not the Genius Act.
You're
That's
talking
in the
about
tax
Clarity?
bill.
Okay. I got you.
It's in the one big bill.
That's exactly what they're actually talking about right now. Yep. They don't like that big, beautiful bill,
guys, yes.
bro. They don't like it.
Tips, senior taxes. I mean, it'd be something else.
Yeah, they don't like it.
Right, because of the cuts, but I think it'll just snowball. I mean,
You think so?
I say in a year you're going to see donations go through the roof again. Donations have been down so bad over the last 5 years because people just don't have money to donate. You know, to all good causes, whatever. You know, once the money starts flowing, it'll snowball. I really see it coming.
That's what Jay was talking. He did bring that up. Crypto tax, tax on crypto, the capital gains needs to be eliminated. We had some nice decentralized finance pro DeFi bills that came out of Vietnam that were pretty cool too. Some digital asset language, pretty advantageous for DeFi. Pretty decent market out there. Jay says, I apologize for sounding uneducated. No, you're good, bro. Keep asking questions. Keep asking questions, man. That's how you learn, brother. LMFG, I see this. You said the SEC has delayed its decision on Franklin Templeton XRP ETF. I think a lot of ETFs are waiting on the Clarity Act and the passage of the Genius Act. This is what they're waiting on.
Yeah, the SEC just keeps kicking it down the road yet. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's a smart move. I think you're going to get a lot of monies going into Canada. That when that goes live tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Buy the dip.
That's all we can, bro. That's all we can do. Got a little breaking report here. And then we'll get to the giveaway. Actually, I'll do a little price countdown on the altcoins and then we'll get to the giveaway. This is interesting. President Trump. Now, this young lady here, this esteemed gentleman right here. His chin has been the focal point of a lot of images lately. Everybody's been examining President Trump's chin. I don't know what for. It's very interesting. President Trump dismisses U.S. intelligence report from Director Tulsi Gabbard, stating Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, siding with Israel's instead. He says, I don't care. Quote, I don't care what she says, unquote. Mr. Trump, hopefully he's gathering good intelligence because the whole world depends on this man. I hope the intelligence that is on Mr. Trump's desk is absolutely 100% verifiable and it is 100% true. Because this is a very sensitive issue, man. Very, very sensitive issue. But this young lady says there are no nuclear weapons. This reminds me of the George Bush Jr.'s tenure and Dick Cheney, Desert Storm. Weapons of mass destruction. You remember that? If you guys can remember back, where we're told that there were weapons of mass destruction. I don't think we ever found them. We found some 1970s tanks, some antiquated aircraft. I don't know. This is just so reminiscent. Very interesting, but I'll digress, guys. We'll pivot back just a bit. I think Senator Cohen, he's still speaking on the president's powers, and then we'll get to the giveaway.
Subject to a vote in Congress.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Let's do a rundown of the market real quick. And Senator Cohen is, I'm going to go to sleep if I continue to listen to that guy. So let's go ahead and get into this. Bitcoin, 140. No, I wish it was 140 LMFG. That'd be beautiful. 104,000 for your Bitcoin, down across the board, but we do understand what's going on with Bitcoin. A lot of geopolitical activity. that is suppressing Bitcoin. Lots of fear. All right. The ETFs are holding the floor. The floor is generally going to be 100K. 100,000 is going to be the floor. I think that's the consensus. Ethereum did drop below the recently shattered resistance level of $2,600. It is sitting at $2,500 right now, down 8% for the 7-day period. XRP, $2.18. It is down within the 24-hour period to the tune of 7%. Very bearish news coming out of the courts. Pause situation. But in Canada, you have the spot ETF launch. So you have mixed bag when it comes to news versus bad news with the XRP. So price action, very, very, very bearish. But you have some good news. BNB $648, down 3%, 7-day period. Solana, $148, guys. Solana is seeing some massive reductions in price. I don't know if it's, the pump.fund situation is contributed to this. I will say this. I want to get to this. Holy shit, I forgot about this. We got to talk about this. This caught me off guard. Now, you guys know Berwick Law Firm? You guys know these people? Do you know this gentleman right here? He represents Berwick Law Firm. Massive lawsuit pending. Listen to this. GMGN, Dex Screener. You guys know Dex Screener. BullX and Photon. They are the focal point of an incoming class action. Dex Screener, you know Dex Screener, you know Photon. I love Photon. I think that's a phenomenal trading dex. They're in trouble. Dex Screener is in trouble. GMGN, I don't even know what GMGN, but they're in trouble. BullX, do you trade on BullX? They're in deep doo-doo. Here's a statement from the law firm. If you lost money trading tokens on these platforms, you may be entitled to compensation. Start your claim now. Berwick Law represents 4,000 plus investors pursuing recovery efforts of crypto losses. This is huge. This is going to be the attorney. One of the leading attorneys. Now, a lot of people in the comment section, they were actually questioning the validity, the actual truthfulness of this post. This is very true. This is what one poster said. Is this real, guys? I lost some money and they lied about airdrops, especially BullX. This shit is bad for these entities, guys. I got to tell you, this is a reply from Berwick Law. We are a real legal firm. Quote, yes, based in New York. Let us know what questions you have. Thanks. And the actual poster says, submit it and thank you. This is real. This is real. This is really happening. So you can check the actual potential claims at berwick.law. Right? These are the claims. Shall we go there? This is very interesting. I may do a standalone video because I don't have time to go through the claims. But listen, guys, we're talking some big time DEXs. Dex Screener is huge when it comes to meme coin activity. BullX, I don't know too much about BullX. I know about Photon. Photon is a very nice platform. It's time to lawyer up. Dex Screener, whoever owns that, it's time to lawyer up. GMGN, I don't know what the hell that is, but you better get some lawyers because this law firm has a pretty damn good track record. I looked it up and they have already sued a lot of entities within the space. This one is big and I think this has a lot to do with what's going on with pump.fund. I really do. So I want to bring that up as I was looking at the Solana price. Let's go ahead and go back to that. Maybe this is why Solana is selling off. I don't know. Currently sitting at $148.86, down almost 9% on the actual 7-day period. Tron 27 went up to 29 and actually sold off pretty briskly once it did hit 30. I think it hit 30 cents actually. It's down 5%, 2% within the 24-hour period. Everybody bought that rumor. It's actually the truth, and they sold it. They sold that news. So Dogecoin, 17 cents. Cardano, 61 cents, down 12%. Hyperliquid, back over $40. We talked about Sue, almost clawing back that $3 mark, still down 16% within a 7-day period. We'll round it off with Chainlink, which is an amazing buy. I love Chainlink. $13.15, down almost 14% within a 7-day period. So altcoins are bleeding. They're following the Bitcoin situation, and pretty much everything financially is following Donald Trump's tweets. It is what it is. It's the Trump volatility train. This is what's going on, LMFG. What did you take, man? Oh, did we lose LMFG?
With it.
There you go, bro. You probably got to start over, bro. I think you got muted. What you take, bro?
Yeah. No, there's a huge delay, and the screen on the VDO is not the same.
Yeah, I think the client is having some issues. I was having a vocal issue too earlier. Yeah. Well, that's okay. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and welcome to the show, Mom. We're about to end the show. Let's go ahead and get this actual member giveaway. We're going to get 3 members. I always release a video, guys, whether it's a short. I did a short this week, a little short update. All you have to do is interact with that as a member. It's an exclusive member video that I release every week. And use as a member, just interact with that. That's your ticket to get on this wheel so we can get you some cash. We're going to be giving out Soul once again. And let's see who we got. Let's go ahead and get 3 members from the member group, and let's see who can win this week. Let's go. And then we'll get some parting shots from LMFG.
What is up, loungers? In today's update, I will be in...
All right, so we had a little feedback over there on another video. Raul, looks like you're going to be the first winner, bro. Hand clap to you. Absolutely. Raul DJ1SK. It's going to be that first winner. It's going to clear you out, bro. Let's get 2 more. Looks like Scott Aker, 1521, I believe. There we go. So we just need 1 more winner, and then we'll close it out. That looks like it's going to be Rami or Olivia. I don't know. It's very close. So it's going to be Rami 90158. So we do have 3 winners. Let's go ahead and count them out real quick. So we have Rami. It's going to be Rami 90158. It's going to be the actual 3rd winner. Hand clap to you, Rami. And we're going to round it off with Scott Aker, 1521, and then Raul, DJ1SK, and clap to the 3 winners. And you guys know what to do. Just hit me up at Crypto Interface on TG or X, and I just need that actual wallet address, Solana wallet, and we'll get you your prizes, man. So hand clap to you guys. LMFG, can you hear me, bro? Oh yeah, we do have FOMC tomorrow.
I think it's going to be on a real bad day.
No, we can hear you, bro. Go ahead, let's get your shots, bro. Let me get your shots. I think you actually dropped and you came back, right? I think so.
Yeah, but it's definitely off. No big deal.
Well, that's
tell
cool.
everyone, be safe, enjoy, and buy the dip, especially if this Genius Act doesn't pass.
Yeah, no doubt. I do believe we have the FOMC meeting tomorrow as well. And I don't know, we have Cynthia Lumens. She's speaking right now. Let's go ahead and, very interesting. Let me see what she said. Let's go and jump real quick before we get out of here.
Is only the first step. Congress must pass comprehensive market structure legislation in the coming months that draws a line between a security and a commodity and creates a pathway for digital asset exchanges to register with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Working on this legislation has begun in earnest, and in the coming weeks, the Senate will begin to hold hearings and release draft legislation on this critical topic. I look forward to working with Chairman Scott, Leader Thune, and Senator Tillis on getting market structure done this year. I'm proud to deliver on President Trump's promise to lead the most pro-digital asset administration in our history. He understands that making America the crypto capital of the world isn't just good policy, it's an economic imperative. This legislation proves that when we work together, we can craft solutions that protect consumers without sacrificing innovation. The time for hesitation has passed. The time for leadership is now. I want to thank Leader Thune and Chairman Scott for their unwavering commitment to get this critical piece of legislation across the finish line. I want to thank my colleagues and our staff for the absurd number of hours that we spent in windowless rooms over the last weeks to bring this bill to the
I think they're going to actually start voting on it.
It's not too late for America to show the world that our nation doesn't just adapt to change, we lead it. Let's get Genius passed and secure America's financial future.
All right.
Mr. President,
let's do it.
I yield back, and I note the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Also Brooks.
Well, so I think we're starting to get to the Genius Act, the actual voting process. Because that was Cynthia Lumens, Senator, a very proactive, pro-crypto member. So maybe we're getting there, guys. We're finally getting to the point to where we're going to see some active voting, some proactive speeches regarding crypto legislation. Because this is a big one. This could spike the market, essentially. If this thing passes today, you could see a huge spike in the DeFi sector. I don't know about Bitcoin. I don't know. Because I think Trump controls that situation. But you may see a pop. I don't know. But I think what's going on overseas is affecting Bitcoin big time. The decisions that in the president's post on Truth Social, those affect Bitcoin greatly. So, but we are seeing some Genius activity, especially with Cynthia Lumens just now speaking on it. So we just had Senator Cohen. He did speak. He was not speaking about the Genius Act, but we did get a pretty good speech from Senator Lumens, where she's very pro crypto, big time, huge Bitcoin maxi. So, but LMFG, go ahead and take us out with your. Well, I think we already heard you, right? You want to say anything else about this? Are you ready for this vote?
Yeah, I'm just excited and ready for it. I just want to see it pass, man.
Well, let's do it. Yeah, because the market's bleeding.
Everyone be safe, be good, enjoy.
Absolutely, bro. Current market cap dip 4%, guys. We're talking about the global market cap, 3.26 trillion. It is down almost 4%. So hopefully we can get this going.
The senator from Tennessee.
And let's see what this senator from Tennessee.
On a bipartisan basis. Quorum call.
Let's see what he says before we get out of here.
Senate quorum call.
Consent to vitiate
Okay.
quorum call.
Without objection.
Well,
thank you, Mr. President.
Let's see here.
Today, on a bipartisan basis, the Senate will pass its first major digital asset legislation ever.
Interesting.
The Genius Act. With this bill, the United States is one step closer to becoming the global leader in crypto. The Genius Act establishes a pro-growth regulatory framework for payment stablecoins. This bill will cement U.S. dollar dominance. It will protect customers. It will drive demand for U.S. treasuries, and it will ensure that digital asset innovation happens in the United States of America, not abroad. With Genius, the value of stablecoins will be pegged to the U.S. dollar and backed one-to-one by cash and short-term U.S. treasuries. This will provide certainty and confidence for more wide-scale adoption of this transformational technology. By combining the dollar's advantages with the speed and the efficiency of blockchain technology, the Genius Act facilitates traditional finance's adoption of crypto and ushers in a new era of payments. The prospect of faster and cheaper payments will have far-reaching implications for our financial system. Once the Genius Act is law, businesses of all sizes and Americans across the country will be able to settle payments nearly instantaneously, rather than waiting for days or sometimes even weeks. Put simply, stablecoins are a paradigm-shifting development that can bring our payment system into the 21st century. This legislation establishes procedures for issuing stablecoins. It designates clear roles for federal and state regulators. It implements standards for consumer protection, and it includes strong safeguards to deter illicit activity. Protections so that with the passage of Genius, stablecoin issuers could become the world's largest holders of U.S. treasuries by 2030. Such an outcome would enhance our physical resilience.
I told you guys, they're just trying to prop up the treasuries with stablecoins
as the global reserve currency. The positive implications of this legislation are hard to overstate. Today will be remembered as
and somebody got to just in time
for innovation in the United States of America.
Yep.
I'd like to thank my colleagues for supporting this legislation. Particularly, I'd like to thank Leader John Thune, Senators Scott, Lummis, Gillibrand, and also Brooks for helping to get this legislation across the finish line. And also, like
so apparently it passed. This is what I'm reading.
Calling out Luke Pettit, Chris Land, Catherine Fuchs, Bill Rockwood, Nick Larson, and Chris Toppings, all of whom have put an effort night and day to make certain that this legislation is a success. I look forward to getting the Genius Act signed into law in very short order. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, all right. So it's official. We have the Genius Act. Trump is a little busy right now, LMFG, so he won't be signing it anytime soon. I don't know if Senator Warren is going to speak. I really want to hear her speak. She's probably going to be carried out in a straitjacket. I don't know. She's probably pretty pissed. But with that said, I guess we'll go ahead and get out of here. With that said, guys, I want you guys to be very, very careful in the market. It's very volatile. Trump volatility is real. Like Relic said, a lot of people are just consolidating into stable coins, getting a little yield and just kind of playing it safe. Just be careful. Watch the news cycle. Watch Trump's social posts. Those are going to affect the way the market moves. Whatever he posts in a day is going to affect all financial markets. So just be mindful of that. And we will catch you on the next show. Take it easy.